What if I told you there are 5 skills that once you really get them down, will just keep paying you back for the rest of your life? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly what those game changers are.
Look, you're already putting in the hours. You're trying to keep your head down, pouring everything you have into the work and the plan everyone told you to follow.
And yet, after all that effort, that feeling of security, of really knowing where you're headed, it just isn't there, is it? It can feel like you're just running on a treadmill, working super hard, but not actually getting anywhere.
And that, of course, leads to the big question, the one that probably keeps you up at night. Is all this struggle, all this work, actually going to lead to the life that you want?
Well, I'm here to tell you the answer is a huge yes. But, and this is a big but, only if you're focusing on the right things. We're not talking about temporary fixes or some quick hacks. We're talking about 5 core skills that are going to compound in value for your entire life, no matter what job you have or where you come from.
All right, first up, the absolute foundation for everything else, learning how to learn. This isn't just about school stuff. It's about gaining a permanent asset, a real edge that nobody can ever take away from you.
We've all seen this, right? You've got one person who studies for 10 hours and barely passes, and another who studies for just 3 and absolutely aces the test. The secret isn't a higher IQ, it's a better method. It's how they learn.
And that method really just boils down to one simple thing. Are you being passive or active? You see, just rereading your notes over and over, it feels productive, but it's like tracing a map. You're not actually learning the route. Active recall, on the other hand, is like trying to draw that same map from memory. It forces your brain to retrieve the information, and that's what builds strong, lasting connections.
So how do you actually do this? It's simple. First, study in short, focused bursts. Think of them like sprints, not marathons. Second, try to explain new ideas out loud in your own words, like you're teaching it to a friend. Third, and this is the most important one, you have to constantly test yourself without looking at your notes. And finally, use spaced repetition. Review stuff after a day, then again after a week. This is how you go from just memorizing to actually understanding.
Okay, so knowing how to learn is a superpower, for real. But it's pretty useless if you can't show up consistently to do the work. And that brings us to our second skill, building systems so you don't have to rely on motivation.
Oh man, this is such a universal feeling, isn't it? That 10 p.m. burst of energy where you're like, tomorrow I'm gonna conquer the world, only to wake up and immediately hit the snooze button? The problem isn't you. It's relying on a feeling that's just fundamentally unpredictable.
So here's the core idea. Motivation, it's a finite resource. It's a feeling, it's flaky, it comes and it goes. A system, on the other hand, is a reliable structure you build for yourself that makes it easier to get started. It reduces the amount of willpower you need. Trust me, structure beats a fleeting feeling of motivation every single time. So how do you build a system like that? It's simpler than it sounds. Tonight, before you go to sleep, just decide on the one most important thing you need to do tomorrow. That's it. When you wake up, commit to working on it for just 10 minutes. Before you start, get rid of distractions. Put your phone in another room. And finally, just track your consistency. Put a check mark on a calendar. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is just to show up.
So you can learn and you can be consistent. That's fantastic. But those skills only create value in the real world when other people can actually understand what you know and what you can do. And this is where skill number 3, clear communication, comes in.
The I should have said that moment. It's the absolute worst. It's when all your knowledge gets trapped inside your own head because you just can't get the words out under pressure. This isn't a knowledge problem, you guys. It's a communication problem.
And the solution is surprisingly simple. First, just slow down when you talk. Use short, clear sentences. If you can, it helps to jot down your main points before you need to speak. And most importantly, focus on getting just one main idea across at a time. In communication, clarity is always more impressive than complexity.
Okay, communicating your value helps you earn, but what you do with the money you earn is what separates long-term stability from a life of constant financial stress. And this brings us to skill number 4, playing the long game. This cycle is a trap, and it keeps so many people stuck. A paycheck comes in, and that little feeling of relief is immediately gone because you spend it, which leads right back to anxiety as you wait for the next one. It's just an exhausting way to live. To break this cycle, you have to literally train your brain to value your future self. Start by saving a small, consistent amount from every single paycheck. I don't care how small it is. Then, you have to fight that powerful urge to upgrade your lifestyle the second your income goes up. That's called lifestyle creep, and it is a trap.
Just start thinking about your financial life in terms of years, not days. Your future self is going to thank you for it, I promise.
But here's the reality, right? Life does not follow a straight line. Jobs change, whole industries get turned upside down, and our best laid plans, well, they fall apart. And that is why our final, and maybe the most crucial skill of all, is adaptability.
This hits home for so many people. You've got this 10-year plan, and then in year 2, the world throws a massive curveball your way. That feeling of being totally lost and scared, it's often a sign that our identity was way too connected to a single, rigid plan.
So building this survival skill really comes down to a mindset shift. You have to constantly learn the basics of new fields outside of what you do every day. Intentionally embrace that discomfort of being a beginner again. Regularly update your existing skills so you stay relevant, and above all else, just stay curious. It's about focusing on your own personal growth, not just on a specific job title.
Now, as I'm saying all this, I can pretty much hear a couple of thoughts popping into your head. First, I just don't have the time. But what if you just started with 10 minutes a day? Second, you might be thinking, I've tried this stuff before and I failed. Listen, failure is not proof you can't do it. It is proof that you are in the arena, actually learning.
And look, if there is only one thing you take away from this whole thing, please let it be this. If you feel behind in life, listen to me carefully. You are not late. You are simply early in your journey of mastering the things that actually matter. All that effort, even when it feels like no one sees it, it's counting for something.
Because at the end of the day, degrees fade and jobs will change. But these 5 skills, learning how to learn, self-management, communication, long-term thinking, and adaptability, they will pay you dividends for life. Your first step starts right now. Pick just one of these skills and practice it for only 10 minutes today. That is how it all begins. I would love to know which skill you're starting with. Let me know in the comments.